I have heard many people say that Sri Lanka has a very strong SME sector, or maybe you can call it MSMEs, and which they say is it's about 53%, and which is not so good. If you are a developed economy and there is equal opportunity or enough opportunity for people to do business, SME sector would reach more than 85% of the GDP. As we speak, it is very unfortunate to understand the Sri Lankan SME sector is falling apart. Without having a proper plan, previous government purposely shrinked our economy and reducing the consumption, and this impacted the SME sector a lot. And in terms of financing, Sri Lankan SME sector never had a development bank or long-term financing with low interest rates. They had to borrow from the private banks, and these institutions are now trying to take over the assets, which pushing the SME sector owners out of business. And whereas at this point, more than 125 people has committed suicide. Even though the Parate law execution was postponed to this December, the problem is huge. Sri Lanka, the non-performing loans estimate is 1.7 trillion and 350 billion is accounting for SME sector. Even we understand the gravity of this problem, it is not something that is easy to be solved. But however, National People's Power is the only political party that provided a practical solution for this current situation. Every country goes through crises, and many crises make the SME sector vulnerable. It is an indicator that we use the non-performing loan indicator in a country. And when this non-performing loans percentage goes beyond a particular percentage, those countries' government introduce something called a bad bank, and we call it a relief bank as well, where you would transfer the non-performing loans from the commercial banks to this temporary bank and allow the SME sector or the businesses to run again, doing their businesses as they used to do before the crisis. And Sri Lanka, from 2019 till now, it was all about crises, and we never had a program that would support the SMEs in terms of managing their loans with commercial banks. As National People's Power, what we have proposed is to establish a relief bank where that bank would take the non-performing loans from the commercial banks and ensure that the commercial banks' balance sheets are also cleared, as well as the SME sector can also continue their businesses, moving out of the crib and ensuring their assets are not taken over. This is a complex situation, but we are very much willing to find a solution together with the banking sector and the SMEs of this country. As much as we deal with the current situation, it is important that going forward, there's a proper mechanism and a strategy to support small and medium businesses. The SME sector should be provided with the required data, market size, and also what kind of businesses that will yield results. So this process has not taken place. Only the SME sector, they have started on their own and without any acknowledgement from the government has failed. In Sri Lanka, 65% of the SMEs fail within 3 years due to various reasons, and one main reason is that lack of knowledge about the market. Financing is a major problem in the SME sector. At present, the SME sector has to go to commercial banks and provide collateral to find their startup funding, and also in terms of short-term funding that they need for working capital. But however, we need to establish a banking system that will allow SME sector to take collateral-free loans based on their feasibilities and ensure the bank also supports in their growth and development. The small businesses lack professional knowledge, so there should be a process that we could provide them with right financial skills, right marketing skills, right HR skills, and also in terms of technological skills that will enable them to improve their businesses, which is only available for large corporates at this point. Another major support that the SMEs need about is the market access. On their own, it is very difficult for a small business to reach the market in terms of branding, marketing, positioning, and also accessing its consumer. It is a huge burden and hurdle. And in terms of the local markets as well as international markets, allowing them to get the certificates, allowing them to consolidate their products and ship. So there is a very reason consolidating their products, and there are many ways the government can support the SME sector in achieving their required market. We need to establish a long-term financing mechanism. It has to be development banks, and it also can be cooperative banks that support the SME sector. So these banks alone cannot ensure the success, but also with the ecosystem that supports SMEs, these banks will work properly as it has worked in Brazil, as it has worked in South Korea or India. As much as we support the foreign direct investments and large investments through a single window, it is very necessary for SME sector also to go to one particular place in terms of their registration, certifications, renewals, and also other required legal aspects, that the service from the government has to be efficient and precise in terms of allowing the SME sector owner, the entrepreneur, to ensure that he focuses on his business rather than dealing with the government. As a political party who believes in equity and justice, it is very important that we support the SME sector, because that is the only way we can redistribute wealth in a fair manner. So this government of NPP will support the SME sector and allow people to do business, get into business, access markets, and as His Excellency Anuradha Disanayake says, we will ensure that there is an inspiration for youth in terms of starting businesses going forward. So therefore, we invite you to understand the policies that has put place under National People's Power and work alongside us to ensure that we establish a strong government for National People's Power and ensure that Sri Lankan entrepreneurs will have a brighter future going forward.